Hi everyone, welcome to the Ravit Show. We are here at Community Live Highlands Conference. Super excited to be with John Newton. John, welcome to the Ravit Show.
Nice to be here.
Super excited to chat with you. But just for audience, would you like to quickly introduce yourself? Tell us more about how does it feel to be back in the tech world? And you started, obviously your career years back,
Yeah.
and you've done so much in this space. You've done so much for the community.
Yeah.
So it was definitely a good news to have you back in the
Yeah.
tech world. But can you tell us a little more about the
Y-
backstory?
Yeah. After graduating from Berkeley,
Yep.
I actually joined my professors at a company called Ingress,
Yep.
the predecessor to Postgres.
Yep.
Uh, when I look at it, I can't really tell the difference between the two sometimes.
Yeah.
But being in data and databases, um, someone else at Ingress and I started Documentum back in 1990 and essentially created this industry.
Exactly.
And so I was there until 2000, then did some venture capital stuff, and then in 2005 I decided that someone is going to make a big splash in open source and enterprise content management. It's like the sweet spot for something like open source. And so it might as well be me. So
Yeah.
that's what I did, and kept at that for about 15 years, and then it was 2020 that Hyland bought Alfresco,
Yes.
and I considered staying, but I have a nice place in the Virgin Islands, and I thought maybe I'll go do my own thing here, and then but playing with AI, I just thought, these agents are just amazing. It's
Right.
I had to get into agents. So Jitesh called me up, and we started talking, and you know, uh,
It
that's why
just
I'm
all
here now.
happened.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
But it's obviously so good to, have you back in the tech world. And yesterday I was listening to the DevCon session that you were doing, and
yeah.
you shared some amazing insights around agents, how it's going to evolve. But I'm just going to step back and obviously talk a little bit about what happened yesterday around the keynote as well. We
Yeah.
saw some amazing announcements. We saw the panel discussion as well.
Yeah.
So kind of curious to learn from you, what would be your advice to those developers, those solution architects out there who are focusing on agents,
Yeah.
but also building things on open source?
Hmm.
Starting from the keynote key takeaways, uh, we would shift to your advice as well.
Yeah. So I couldn't really talk about what we announced yesterday.
Yeah.
I wish I could have. Timing is everything.
Yes.
But i- i- the way to look at the approach that Highland is taking, the content innovation
Cloud.
cloud, um, you should look at it as a layer above your ECM systems.
Hmm.
So we got two open source ECM systems today, and now a third. We have Alfresco and Nuxio, and then I guess we'll talk about the other one as well.
Yes.
And but on top of those sits the content innovation cloud.
Right.
So it's sort of like when you have a database and then you add a data lake and analytics on top. You don't impact your operational system,
Exactly.
but you get insights and analytics out of it. Well, this is very similar in that you can now start to apply AI on top of the information in your operational system.
Hmm.
But in this case, instead of just going into a data lake, it's a bi-directional thing. So
Yeah.
whatever you add using AI, it can uh, go into there. And so this is the perfect platform for creating and innovating on agents,
Right.
is to do it so it doesn't impact your operational systems, but you can try it out. And
Very important.
that's a lot of what we talked about yesterday.
Thanks for sharing that. And when it comes to those developers and solution architects and those AI engineers who have been building AI agents, how will this help them be much more efficient, faster, and I think even cost effective?
Yeah. Well, what we talked about yesterday, that perhaps people watching this aren't necessarily content management developers. But if you want to do anything in AI, it's kind of hard not to do it with content. A data-only AI is good, but I think what you'll find is that the agents are probably just creating programs to work on the data.
Yep.
And it's really content that drives large language models. So you should look at open source content management if
Right.
you have an interest in working in AI, because that's where you're going to drive all your RAG solutions, and
True.
you need the content, and you need clean content, curated content, and that's what content management does. So
Yeah.
that's my first recommendation. Second is there's so many open source tools, and yeah, I think it's a little early to pick a winner in the agent frameworks.
For sure.
I really like LangGraph. I really like Crew AI. N8N is actually pretty interesting,
Interesting too.
Each one is, in the UK they say horses for courses, in that each horse has the right course.
Right.
I think you need to pick the right horse for the problem that you're trying to solve, but keep it modular so that you can abstract it and replace it in the future. So I would say that's probably one of the biggest things. And then also, AWS talks about the well-architected system or application. That's all about modularizing and having loosely coupled architectures. And in this world, that is absolutely critical. You should follow the well-architected patterns of Werner Vogel, and build it that way. And that's a lot of what we're doing right now, using enterprise buses to drive extensions to some of the servers and stuff. Keep your extensions isolated. Use serverless. Where needed.
Yeah.
Because often that's the cheapest way to be able to extend these things.
I love these insights, and you mentioned some amazing tools there. You mentioned great way to work around agents. Open source is definitely a great way to get into it, try your hands. And the most important thing, what I feel you mentioned, John, is think about the problem that you want to solve and accordingly go for a tool that kind of fits in. There are definitely a lot of tools, but you need to be careful in terms of what problem you want to solve.
Yeah, and you should look at that from a business perspective.
Right.
Yeah, so what business problem are you trying to solve? Like any problem, you should write a specification. And by the way, that specification is going to be very useful for the agents to understand what they're trying to accomplish.
Yeah.
And also, your coding agents as well. We're getting to the point where you just give it the specification, and then out pops the program.
Yeah.
So good specifications, understand the business problem is job one.
Yeah. No, I think that's so true. And kind of, since we are on this topic of problems and challenges, I'm kind of, in the last 3 days, you've been talking to a lot of customers. I've been hearing from a lot of customers. We've seen the panel discussion as well yesterday at the keynote, and some top-notch, like people from NHS were there, top-notch banks were there, and they've been sharing about different use cases and how they've been using CIC and how they've been, obviously working in the AI space.
Yeah.
What have you been hearing from enterprise leaders when it comes to implementation of AI? But now I think it's more about the scaling as well.
Yeah. What I'm hearing is that they're early in their journey. Everybody is really curious. They're getting ready to put budget in there.
Right.
And it's really only a few leaders that are actually doing, moving along. I would say the banks are always, especially investment banks, are always at the forefront of what's going on.
Yeah.
But I was actually talking to people in the US federal government. You've heard of Doge and everything that's going on. Well, a lot of heads cut. How do you deal with that?
Yeah.
They must use agents, and so big investments going on in there as well.
Oh,
so,
wow.
Yeah.
So it's not only now, it's not only just limited to um use cases for industries which were okay easy to adapt AI agents. It is also the regulated industries like
Yeah,
finance, government, who are kind of
yeah.
obviously implementing agents into their systems. So that is
Well,
very
yeah,
crucial.
so because we're very early in this process, there's going to be a tendency to simply take a workflow process and then turn it into an agent
Oh
process.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And this is very similar to what happened when workflow first arrived, is they took a paper process and then turned it into a workflow process where they took and encoded the paper so that the forms look exactly like the paper forms.
Right.
And it doesn't make sense to take a paper process and then turn it just electronic. You rethink it. This is the same thing. You start from first principles. What are you actually trying to accomplish? Deconstruct the actual process that you've got that you want to automate and figure out, how can I do this differently with agents? Because it could be that 90% of the work is now done by agents. Do you want them just looking like little electronic people running around doing things, or can you collapse and pull things together? So um, that's a lesson people are about to learn. But right now, that MIT study, which was, yeah, they claim that half of the AI budget is going into marketing. Everybody knows that's not true.
Not true, right?
Not true. But it isn't necessarily the best place to apply it. Yeah, you can use it for generative AI, but people are probably already using ChatGPT.
Right.
Where you need to apply it is the back office. Rethink the back office. Rethink those operational types of things. That's probably the best place to start.
I love it. These
Yeah.
are fantastic insights, John, and thanks for sharing everything in detail. One last question I have for you
Sure, yeah.
is, if people want to reach out to you,
Yeah.
if they want to follow you, I know you are active on LinkedIn. I saw the
Yeah,
announcement when
yeah.
you started with
Yeah.
Hyland. I was super excited to see that.
Yeah.
But if they want to follow, if they want to stay in touch, which is the best place?
I'd say LinkedIn is a good place.
Yep.
On X, I'm just at John Newton. So
Okay, awesome.
I'm there. I try to avoid all the noise. We're talking about noise this morning.
Yes.
There's a lot of noise on there, but it is one of those places you go to see what's happening,
What's happening?
in
Yeah.
AI. It's just indispensable. YouTube as well. So
YouTube as well.
Yeah, so,
Fantastic.
yeah.
John, such
So
a
you're in the
pleasure
right
chatting
place.
with you
Yeah.
on the Ravit Show.
Yeah.
And we'll keep the conversation going. It was definitely great to see your talks, your sessions
Yeah.
at Community Live. We'll keep the conversation going. Definitely looking forward to doing 2.0 with you again very
Okay.
soon. Thank
great.
you.
All right. Thanks.
Appreciate it, John.
All right. Thanks.
Thank you, everyone, for watching us.
Thanks.